Hi.
Hello. Okay. Interview first. Hi, so I'm here with Penny Lacosta,
Hi, guys.
very good friend that I met, about a year ago?
Yeah, in interesting circumstances.
At Wine and Whiteboards. And I actually remembered the other day that I first spoke to you on the phone because I absolutely refused to use PayPal to pay you.
That's right, you did too. I've forgotten all about
I
it.
forgot that and I
You
remembered
did?
it, yes.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, this is one of those crazy women.
I know.
And I met you and I was like, she's totally normal. She's just got a conscience and she cares about the world.
There we go. Because PayPal mess up things.
See,
and they-
dirty assumptions that we make
There
about
we go.
people, judgments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And here we are. A year later.
Beautiful friendship.
Exactly. So you're changing the world, and I think you're an amazing entrepreneur and businesswoman, and just all-round great person.
Oh, you're so cool.
Bye.
I
Anyway.
hope to change the world. It's aspirational, but hey, you know what? It puts a stake in the ground.
Exactly. And everything we do is about that purpose, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about some comments you made recently
Yeah.
about how I've helped you in your business and
Yeah.
things that I've done to help you grow. And if you wouldn't mind sharing that.
Totally happy to, Steph.
Yeah.
And I think, I always say life gives you what you need just when you need it. And I feel like you're one of those people that kind of presented yourself just when I needed it. So I think probably the most powerful thing that you suggested to me was a CRM system.
Yep.
Yeah, so I deal with a lot of corporate clients, but I was basically had this spreadsheet and I was trying to track who I'd spoken to, when I'd spoken to them, what the value of the deals were. I had no idea, yeah? And I mean, I come from a sales background, but when you're in a large corporation like Shell, the tools you have available to you are worth a lot more money. So, yeah, so a spreadsheet was the best I could come up with. And I said to you, how do you manage your customers? Like, how do you track? And how do you make sure you follow up in a timely manner? And you recommended Capsule. And I cannot tell you, I implemented, that conversation must have been, probably only about 4 or 5 months ago now.
About.
I have made more money since I implemented that system in my business in the last 6 months than I have made in the first 2 years of business. Significantly more. I looked at my revenue the other day, and from this time last year to now, like comparative periods, my revenue's gone up 280%.
That is incredible.
Yeah, and it's all because you suggested the system. And the thing that was beautiful about it being a startup, I couldn't afford a lot of money.
Yep.
And it was quite cheap in
Yes.
terms of the monthly fees. But the transparency it's given me in terms of understanding what the value of my pipeline is and where every customer is in the journey and how to, it reminds me to follow up with them. It's gold.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. I also introduced you to another good friend of mine, Julie. Tell us about that.
So, interesting story. Steph turned up at a workshop of mine and I said, I'm looking for an assistant. I need someone to just sort my shit out. And I said, I'm looking at the offshore model, the cheap virtual assistant in the Philippines. Because my perception again, I don't want to spend too much money. And I remember you said to me, I said to you, do you know anyone? And you said to me, I know someone, but she's not cheap, but she's worth every cent. And so I went down the path of recruiting my Filipino assistant, and that lasted 3 days. And then I ended up ringing you up and saying, give me Julie's number.
Yep.
And again, I think that was probably about 8 months ago now.
About 8 months, yeah.
Julie has changed my life. Julie is part of my family. And again, since I took Julie on and since I put that CRM in place, it's totally changed the profitability and the efficiency of my business.
Absolutely.
And I think what's interesting about it, and it's funny because you're a startup like me, is this mindset we have around money.
Yes.
And if there's one thing that I have learned since I started this journey, every time I think something's too expensive, and then I bite the bullet and make a significant investment, I sit there and go, why the hell didn't you do this sooner? Yeah.
But it is like that. But it's also about smart choices.
Correct.
I deal a lot with startups. I deal a lot with small businesses that are starting out, and I cannot tell you the number of them that buy a whole bunch of things and sign up for a whole bunch of
But they don't
services,
know.
and they go $1 here, $2 here, $10 here. I can afford this. And at the end of 6 months, you look back and you realize how much money you're spending on things that you don't use.
Yeah.
It's a waste of money.
So true. And it's funny, my dad does all my accounts, and every month I get him to send me a report of all of the subscriptions and all of the costs within our business. Because, like you say, I think as a small business, you sign up to all this stuff that's cheap, but it adds up. And every month we drop something.
Good.
Yeah, but it's like you've got to keep that. and
You've got to
that's
keep
why
on top of it.
You've got to keep that transparency and be mindful of what you've subscribed to. But I have found it's not been the little investments that I've made often. It's the big investments where I've had angst about it for a month before I've thrown the money at it,
Yep.
like a business coach.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the biggest investment I made last year. And again, since I've done that, changed my business. Signing up to the work club, this space that we're in.
Yeah.
Again, I ummed and ahed for a month. As soon as I signed up, things changed for me. So it's like you say, I think be conscious of what you're spending, but you've got to also understand that it takes money to make money.
Yep.
And sometimes, those right investments are going to cost you, but what you will often find is they'll deliver the returns very quickly.
And those changes usually come with a slight change in mindset too.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you get over the fear of it, you get over the change, and then suddenly things are freed up for you.
It's so true.
Yep.
And that's, like you say, that the things you've recommended have totally freed me up. Like Julie has created the space for me to develop new programs, to build new relationships. And I've signed on so much more business since I've had her. And it's the same with the CRM. That's freed up space as well, because I'm not sitting there trying to work things out. It's already worked out. It's all there.
It's in front of you, you can just go, tick it off the list and work.
Correct.
Yeah, brilliant.
So I have no problems recommending you. I think you're freaking amazing. You're my go-to girl.
I'm your go-to girl. Thanks for chatting with me.